Hi guys, this is Gopinath, working assistant professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. Today we are going to see about the topic of hashing in database management systems. Let us move into the topic. Hashing, as we all know, that indexing is before going into the hashing technology or technique. We are seen in the previous video. We have seen about the indexing. So indexing is nothing. It's all about the indexing elements. It is based on primary key, and some of the index is based on the address pointer. Whereas in hashing, it is very efficient to all search all the index value and reach the desired data. So the hashing is a technique that will use the hash values, the hash tables, the buckets, and the hash functions. So these are all the combinations. Then we are going to find the place in the hash table. So how we are going to insert the value in the hash table, let us see one by one. So it is a technique used to calculate the direct location of a data record on the disk without using any index structures. As I said earlier, here we do not use no need to use any index calculations here because it is purely based on the hash function. In this technique, as data is stored in in data blocks, that is whose address is generated using the hash function. So based on the hash function only, our address is generated. Once the address is generated, it is stored in the memory location where these records are stored is known as data buckets. Let us see what is data buckets and data hash tables one by one. Hash table is nothing but the array or data structure, and its size is determined by the total volume of the data present in the database. It is nothing but the database. For example, if we have 5 records in the table, then this 5 record is we can say it as a hash table. So that is called as hash table. So each memory location in a hash table is called a bucket. So each memory location, so each pointer or memory location in a, for example, if we have five address or five memory location, the first memory location is first bucket, and second memory is second bucket, and third is third bucket, fourth is fourth bucket, and fifth one is fifth bucket. That is called the bucket. The hash indices shows a data record exact locations where it is stored and can be accessed through a hash functions. And second one is bucket. Bucket is nothing but a memory location, that is the index in the hash table that shows the data record. As I said earlier, each memory location we have the buckets. So this bucket generally store a disk block which further stores multiple records. It is also known as hash index. We can say it is also known as hash index also. Hash function, it is a mathematical equations or algorithm that takes one data record's primary key as input and computes the hash index. Let us, in example, you can understand what is this hash table, buckets, and hash functions very easily. The hash function and how it is works, then we can see that how the hashing will works. So hash function is nothing but, as I said earlier, it is a mathematical algorithm. We have to do some permutation and combinations in order to store the current data records. So how it will works, the hash function, it will generate a hash index through the primary key of the data record. So there are two possibilities that hash function. Once the hash index generated isn't already occupied by any other value, the address will be stored directly. For example, the hash index value is 0 and the zeroth record is empty. There is no issues that the hash index generated zeroth value is directly stored in that particular record. And the second scenario possibility is that hash index generator is already occupied. For example, the hash index zeroth position, it is already occupied by some other value. So then we can say there will be a collision occurs. Now we need to overcome this collision also. Now whenever you query a specific record, the hash function will be applied and returns the data record comparatively faster than indexing. So that only we are using here hashing technology or methodology. So let us look into the example here. We are using the primary key to store the value of hash functions. It's a basic example, and this is mapped into a bucket. That's index value is mapped into a bucket, and this value 0, 897 is purely based on the hash index that is generated by the hash functions. So now we understand what is hash table, and this value 0, 897, 1, 125, these are all the buckets that is represented here. And next one, types of hashing. We have generally two types of hashing. The first one is static hashing and dynamic hashing. Here today we are going to discuss purely about the static hashing. Static hashing is nothing but the we are going to calculate the hash functions. We already know that static is a fixed one. As the name suggests, static is a fixed one. So here the value is 5. So we have only 5 records. The hash function always generates the same bucket address. For example, if we have a data record for employee ID equal to 107, the hash function mod5 will give the result of where is the ID that takes place. So suppose 106 divided by 5, that is the mod value is 5, that is equal to 1. So this 106 indicates the data record should be placed or searched in the first bucket. Let's look at in this example. We need to show the value of 106. So 106 we have taken the hash function calculation, that is h106 mod of 5. So that mod value gives the address of first value. So we have seen the 106 data, that is 106 Ethan, and then he is living in the city of Indore. So that is called as static action, and how we are going to store the values in the table. And then overflow. If suppose the buckets are full and the new buckets needs to be allocated for the same hash result and is linked after the previous one. This methodology is called as closed hashing. Let us see this example here. 0 1 2 3 4, there is totally 5 buckets. We need to insert the value in the first address, that is already placed as 1. Again we need to insert 6, means that will be linked as a list, and again we need to link 11th values, again it is placed in the linked list value. This is one type of hashing when the collisions are occurs. This results in to avoid the collision we are using this closed hashing methodology. And the linear probing, it is also called as open hashing. This is another way of avoiding the collision occurs. So 0 1 2 and the buckets are full, we need to search for the empty bucket or the next free bucket which is empty. So then this bucket only they will allocate. For example, we need to insert the value of 6 in the first position, but that bucket value is full. So we are going to insert the next position that is free, that is so that the 6 is inserted in the second bucket's value. So this is how the hashing is done. So today we have learned about what is hashing, and then what are the types of hashing, and how this hash values, hash table have worked, and the static hashing with example. Thank you. In the next slide, we are going to see about the dynamic hashing. Thank you.